Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
What? Hump day!
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Week 3 Hump Day Hangout, now featuring a soundboard that I'm learning to use. And along with me is the world's greatest co-host, Michael Basham. What is up?
Hump day!
What's going on?
Right. Also, waivers day. We've got a lot to talk about, including that later. But let's jump right into the helmet stickers and butt bumps. Go ahead.
All right, my first butt fumble goes out to Polino. You started Doug Martin. He didn't play. He was listed as inactive. You had other options to play. It's not like you were stuck with nobody else to put in. For as hard as JD was riding your wiener in some of our other talk shows, you are coming up big time with these butt fumbles lately. For a premier owner in our league, for somebody that has been feared for so long, you are really, really, really blowing your load right now, and I just don't understand it.
Not in a good way.
Yeah, it's bad.
So I will say this. By the time Doug Martin was ruled out, it was past Ridley's game time, and Polino had no other option. But that's when he used the emergency pickup rule I put in place.
Yes.
So that's exactly what that's meant to be.
Could have had Rainey.
You could have Jeff or Catco or myself babysit your team if you're busy on a Sunday. So definite butt fumble. What else you got?
I also have Jay. You didn't put any money on Asiata or McKinnon. I mean, you put money, but clearly not enough that would get them after the AP news on Friday.
1/8 of Sean Hill.
Yeah.
So you
put 38 on Hill, and you put 4 on Asiata, which was absurd. So then you decide to trade for him when you could have had him for 8, 9,
5,
18, 19 fab originally. I don't know. You messed up there, I think, Jay.
Definitely. I'll get to that issue in a little bit, as we all saw it coming. Let me take a look at some of mine here. Nick Clark comes in with a helmet sticker. This is his first ever high score. Very impressive. He went 40 straight career games without ever having a high score, which was tied for the record until butt fumble. Matt Bay now owns the record, 41 straight career games without a high score.
Wow.
That's the worst ever in the league. You're now in the record book for that. So congratulations to Nick Clark for breaking that, and butt fumble to Matt Bay for now holding the record. I also want to give a helmet sticker to Reggie Wayne in real life. He might not be scoring touchdowns, but he had a huge fumble recovery, and also he stopped a pick 6 from happening with a big tackle after a luck interception. Very impressive, just all-out football performance by Reggie Wayne.
Yeah.
Butt fumble will go to the referees this weekend. There are some really embarrassing things that happened. Harvin stepped out of bounds on his touchdown, and the new replay system did not catch it. Mike Evans was legitimately injured at 13 seconds left on the clock, and by the time the refs noticed, there was 8, and they ran 10 seconds off to end the game. Buccaneers couldn't tie it up with a field goal. The Jets, they let a player or a coach call the timeout when only the head coach could. Cost my Geno Smith a touchdown, even though he wasn't in my starting lineup. So, butt fumble the refs. Everyone gets all over the replacement refs, but I don't think the refs are very good this weekend. Football was just in general not fun to watch this weekend.
Yeah, it was. This whole thing is just getting out of hand. You literally can't even touch a person if you play defense anymore.
And the whole process of a catch is super annoying.
Yeah.
Because I saw one that's definitely a catch, and they spent 6 or 7 minutes. It might have been Martellus Bennett, and the fact that it's gone that severe that what he did was not a catch is ridiculous. And then they blew Sammy Watkins' touchdown. He fumbled before he went in, I'm pretty sure. And from several other ones they just missed in a quick replay on a catch. So it's kind of stupid, I think. They just need to simplify the things and get it straight.
Yes, I agree.
Got anything else? Helmet sticker butt fumble?
I give a helmet sticker to Jeff for his foresight on picking up Cousins. After this whole RG3 fiasco that I have, I went on our free agency pool of players to look for Cousins, thinking that he was still going to be there. And to my disgust, Jeff owned him. And then I actually contacted Jeff, and he said that he picked up Cousins like the previous week in pretty much all of his leagues. So awesome job by him to kind of see that one coming. I can't tell you how many times I contemplated it, but I just couldn't pull the trigger. So props to him for being able to make that pickup.
Yeah, you know, if I would have known that we were inviting a fortune teller into the league, I would have picked someone else. This is a huge disadvantage for all of us.
Agreed.
You know, what a great pickup by Jeff, because there were several concerns. RG3's injury history and reports of Cousins being the preferred quarterback. RG3 is playing crappy. I think they just wanted an excuse, and this gives them a perfect excuse to maybe even hold RG3 out for the entire year. Or slight chance to trade him. Who knows? There's a lot of crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. Go ahead.
I have two more helmet stickers, both dealing with quarterback plays. Nick Clark for playing Rivers. I know originally, before our talk show last week, he had... Who did he have in?
Flacco.
Yeah, he had Flacco in. We kind of talked about Rivers, how we think that he should play. Made the change to Rivers. And that kind of, came through huge for Nick Clark. And then you, for making your decision to play Cutler, got you the win. It was kind of an up-in-the-air decision. I mean, we were talking about it all day, what you should do, Smith or Rivers, or Cutler, sorry. And you decided to go with Cutler, and it paid off huge. So helmet sticker on those quarterback decisions to you and Nick Clark.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I would have probably played Flacco if I were Nick Clark. So, big choice on his part. And did you tell me I should play Smith? Is that what you told me before the game?
No, I think I told you it was an easy decision and you should go with Cutler.
Okay.
And then you said that you were wary about it because both of the receivers you thought were going to be out at the time.
Most people thought, I think.
Right.
So it was really tough. And that's a good segue to the Week 2 recap. Let's just blaze through these. I think they're probably pretty boring for the most part. But we have myself and Jeff. It was probably the slowest game of the week at first. We were both stuck under 70 points for a really long time. Locker, for me, was supposed to be big against Dallas. Did not get it done. My wide receivers were pretty pitiful, and Gronk was slow. And my defense and the kicker combined for 9 points, which was rough. On the other hand, Jeff had Big Ben, 4 points, and he also had Monty Ball, who didn't really get it done. Then it came down to the Sunday night game. Cutler just decided to go nuts for me, which is a big deal. He wasn't even looking good in the first half until the final drive, and then he just decided to, I don't know, I really don't know what he did, but that was big. And Vernon Davis got hurt for Jeff, so that was a hamper to him coming back. And then Sproles almost came back at the end there. He had that huge game, one more touchdown, and I was in trouble.
Yep.
So close game, Jeff. I apologize for taking that loss. I really didn't deserve it with Cutler just coming out of nowhere. So once again, though, my bench quarterbacks did pretty good. I think Geno Smith had 17, Eli had 15, Carr had 13. That's what I'm looking for in my bench quarterback there. So yeah, big week for me. 0-2 were really, really hurt. Without a stud quarterback.
I was really, really, really pulling for Jeff. To have you go start off 0-2 would have been freaking huge. I need to get you in as big as a hole as I can to start the season.
Yep. Well, I'm glad you're focused on me and nobody else in the league. That's going to turn out really well. Nick versus Jay in the first game of a doubleheader. This was a great match as well, but it wasn't really close most of the time. Nick's quarterbacks had 47, Matthews had 27. Ingram, Gio Bernard both had big games for Nick. And impressively, in his weekly high score, Nick Clark only had 3 points from kicker plus defense. So there's potential for growth in that team, except Ingram got hurt, which kind of sucked. But Nick's legit. It's there. Did you see the Tuesday buffet Photoshop right at the top?
I did. That was hilarious.
So, Matvey just had some disappointing performances from Kaepernick, Lacey, Vereen, Deshaun Jackson got hurt. So, Fred Jackson also. The big shocker, Matvey's team's suffering injuries. I never saw that coming.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? But a lot of us really thought Matvey's team was going to be, pretty good. But we all said, pretty much every player on his roster has some kind of injury concern, whether it's past injuries or just their style of play. And yeah, just a little thing. I have him as my biggest team concern going forward. Not only because of the injuries. Matthews is hurt. No surprise there. His QB3 is going to be a concern. Whether it's just because Newton or Kaepernick, their style of play, they get hurt. Kaepernick just hasn't looked good. And then Vereen in New England's backfield, you have no clue what's going to happen from week to week there, and it's got to be so frustrating. It's like owning a New Orleans running back. And then his wide receivers are looking slim now with Welker coming back. I really think that it's going to affect Emmanuel Sanders and his production. And then, for this week, I think he has James Jones starting. Had an awesome week last week, but I don't trust any of those Oakland wide receivers. So I'm definitely really concerned with Matt Fay's team, especially after that 109-point effort last week.
Yeah, James Jones also fumbled twice on one play. That was really embarrassing. So I agree. I know I asked Matvey about his running back concerns because he only had one running back that wasn't in a timeshare. And ironically, that running back could end up in a timeshare if he keeps getting nicked up. And James Starks is pretty good as well.
Yes.
So, good call there with the biggest concern. And they play again this week, so that'll be fun. It'll be really
very interesting
to see Nick Clark sweep the series.
Yes.
Another thing I want to ask, has Nick Clark ever been with a winning record this late in a season? It sounds ridiculous because it's only... Oh, wait, no, he could get a winning record.
Yeah, he's 1-1 right now.
That might be the latest he's ever had a win. So, Sterner and Katko. Sterner had a tough loss of AJ Green. Sterner only had 7 points between 3 wide receivers.
That's nuts.
I
That's
doubt
unheard of.
I doubt that's a record, but it's close.
It's got to be close.
Yeah, I mean, I think one time, a long time ago, someone started 2 wide receivers that were hurt, and their other wide receivers didn't good. I also noticed I don't have those records in the record book for first weeks, worst single weeks for a position.
Yeah.
I have it for the best, so I'll have to edit that. Katko suffered a tough loss in Charles. His quarterbacks literally did exactly the same as last week. I think Brady had one more. No, Brady was the same, and Foles had one more point. So that's concerning. Neither of them have stopped twice yet. It's some not tough matchups. So definitely concerns. Colston, his recent acquisition, not have a great game.
You're starting to cut out, JD.
Colston did not have a great game.
He wasn't even looked at.
No, Hayden was on, but Colston's way taller than Hayden, so that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
And they lost, so maybe they should have thrown it.
Right.
So why don't you tell us about yourself versus Jay in that match?
Me versus Jay. It started out pretty much terrible for me with RG3 going down. I really thought that as soon as he got hurt, I was absolutely screwed because at the time that he went down, he only had 3 points. Freaking Matt Asiata, however you say his name, came up huge. And I literally put him into my lineup 5 minutes before kickoff. I was sitting at my niece's football game. They're cheerleading. I pull out my phone for some reason, and I'm like, shoot, it's 12:55. I better check my lineups, see what's going on. And you all know how much I love Bell, and I made this ballsy decision to go roll with Asiata and sit Bell, playing against the tough Carolina Panthers, and it paid huge dividends. I got no quarterback points, 5 from Matt Ryan after his insane week 1. Graham had a slow start in the first half, but then he had that huge second half, which pretty much got me that win because my New England Patriots defense was like my highest scorer, and that was what got it done for me.
That's right. Big 2-0 victory.
But I'll tell you what I was surprised with was Jay didn't go with Sammy Watkins in his starting lineup after he's been riding his wiener so hard all through the preseason, posting these highlight catch videos and stuff. So I was disappointed with Jay there. Would have maybe won him that matchup. I don't know. But it definitely would have been a lot closer. And then Morena going out really helped me out big time.
Right. So, definite, nice 2-0 victory. You're going to need that because you know how the back half of the season went for you last year.
Yes, I need to get them as much as I can now as possible.
Right. So, Mike and Billy were the match of the week, which...
What a great pick for match of the week.
Good pick by myself. I didn't know that Mike was going to start a injured Doug Martin, though, which... If he put Rainey in or Ridley, that would have won him the game.
Exactly.
So, but Mike's team had a pretty normal week other than that. Bill has to be slightly disappointed with his quarterbacks. I think Stafford only had like 13 points.
Yeah, it wasn't anything impressive.
Gerhard was weak. Jordy Nelson really saved him. And Brandon Marshall on the bench, you have to go with that, I think.
Yeah.
But it's still hard that he put up his biggest game of the year, most likely.
Yep.
When Bill didn't use him. So, let's see. We're going to move on and talk quickly about lineup decisions. You already mentioned the quarterback ones, but Jeff went with DeAndre Hopkins over Torrey Smith. I probably would have went with Torrey Smith. I don't know. That was his Steelers fandom, just sitting Torrey Smith. But DeAndre got 10, Torrey got 1. Great call there by Jeff. You mentioned Rivers and Flacco from Nick Clark, but I also have Quick versus his plethora of other wide receivers. I didn't mention this in the butt fumbles, but Nick Clark was rostering 10 wide receivers. That's half his team.
Oh, my God.
You only started 3, Nick, and some of the ones you had were super unnecessary. It looks like he's made steps to fix that. But he picked the right one. Reuben Randall had 11. I'll say that. But all the other ones, plus Reuben Randall, combined for 23 points. And there were 7 on his bench. So they averaged just over 3 points per player. He had a lot of really bad ones. Greg Jennings and Riley Cooper are 2 that I would have considered over Brian Quick, but I think they each had 1 point. So good job, Nick. Matt made, it wasn't a pick he should have made, but it's notable that Bradshaw had 25 and Fred Jackson only had 5. I mean, you could have kind of saw that coming. I wouldn't have done it, but still a notable lineup decision. Sterner went with Michael Floyd over T.Y. Hilton. Once I found out that Drew Stanton was starting, I don't know if I would have done that. The Eagles, Kerry Williams, that cornerback, their second cornerback, got toasted the week before, supposedly. So I would have considered that. So it doesn't. I don't think it would have helped him though. Catco went with McFadden over Terrence West. I definitely don't think I would have done that.
I would not have done that.
But it didn't really matter. But McFadden only had 3 less points. He had a strong 12. Would not have expected that from him.
Yeah.
But you know, Catco's biggest mistake was putting Tom Brady in over Brian Hoyer, the best quarterback in the league. But anyway, like you said, you had Asiata over Joke Bell. I probably wouldn't have done that because reasons I'll get to later. Jay really didn't have any tough lineup decisions. Mike obviously had one that he didn't really decide to make at all. Bill, I would have considered Jeremy Hill over Toby Gerhardt, just because Gerhardt was banged up. Jeremy Hill had a great matchup, but because of his usage the week before, I can see why he didn't go with that. And then I had some wide receiver ones, not apart from Geno Smith, first Cutler, but none of my wide receivers broke 10 points, so not a big deal. Let's see. Is it time for my new weekly segment?
It is. It is time.
Do you have any trade block news or trade trash can news?
No, I don't have anything.
Let me get ready for this. Okay. So let me know if I'm cutting out, because it's a little lengthy.
Alright.
Alright, guys, it's time for my new weekly segment, the Commissioner's Corner. The weekly rant or hot take from yours truly, the Commissioner of the BHL Premier League. So, one thing really has me fired up, and that's the trade this week between Basham and Jay. My emotions just run the gamut, from perplexed to annoyed to pissed off, and I genuinely think it's one of the worst trades I've seen in the past several years of the league. I don't understand what Jay was doing. I think he justified Basham's claim that he's the bitch of the league. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to dig into this and definitively explain why. Not that anyone other than Jay needs convincing. So, let me start with some disclaimers. First, this isn't a critique of Basham being a rip-off artist. It's not his style. Usually that's later in the season, taking advantage of apathetic owners. This one's all on Jay. And although I'm certainly jealous of Basham's move, and I feel like I made Jay a significantly better offer for the same exact players, that doesn't affect my feelings on this trade at all. I also played Basham this week, and he needed a quarterback, and I didn't want to see him get it. Also, that doesn't affect my thoughts why this trade's atrocious.
Good disclaimer.
Let's take a look at the players involved. First, I want to talk about the quarterback. Jay has consistently held to his claim that Tannehill is a top 15 quarterback. He even reaffirmed this last night after the trade. So he thinks that he just traded away a top 15 quarterback. One more thing about Tannehill before we move on is Jay needed him in Week 4 versus Sterner against a terrible Oakland defense. And now he is left with just one starting quarterback in Week 4 versus Sterner. So that's a crucial matchup. Jay's missing 3 starters from the Seahawks. Sterner's missing 5 starters. Jay has no fill-in quarterback. So, look, this league is tough. And when your team has some injuries, or maybe it feels like it's an uphill battle to get to the playoffs, you have to find ways to win. And that Week 4 game versus Sterner is one of the most blatant make sure you get the W week you'll ever see. It's a rare opportunity to face a team that has so many holes in it in one given week. And Jay's giving Josh every chance he possibly can to steal it away from him. So, now onto the quarterback, Jay on return. RG3 might not even play this year, but Jay decided to tell me last night RG3 is much greater than Tannehill, with 3 greater than size. Very strong opinion. Last year, Tannehill outscored RG3 239 to 202. RG3 did miss 3 games, but this year RG3 looked worse in running and passing. It looks like he's regressed. Tannehill's in a better offense, learning a great new playbook, Chip Kelly design, and it looks like he's improving. RG3 still doesn't know how to slide. He doesn't show good anticipation. Reports were coming to Cousins, better quarterbacking camp, from Patriots beat writers that were at the joint practices, from Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Theismann in the booth who announces their games, publicly said this. So RG3 wasn't even looking good. Cousins eventually could have stole the job. Now he's hurt. He just randomly jumped and exploded his ankle. And this doesn't concern Jay in the least. Okay, 6 to 8 weeks is the prognosis. But who knows? Ligaments could have been damaged. Ankles are tricky businesses, especially for a running back whose 20% of his points last year came from rushing totals. When he comes back, that's not going to be the case. So, I don't know. I don't have to talk that much more about RG3. We all know it's super risky. But by the time he comes back, Jay is probably going to be eliminated from the playoffs. He's starting Josh McCown. You've got to be kidding. Josh McCown has 14 out of 25 of his fantasy points from 2 lucky rushing touchdowns. Josh McCown does not rush the ball. That's never going to happen again. So Jay's like chasing this mirage of a star quarterback to come back and save his fantasy team. But not only did he sacrifice the Week 4 cupcake matchup he needed, he also needs to cover his McCown Week 7 bye when Sean Hill plays the Seahawks, which is his only option until RG3 comes back. Sean Hill. Okay? And I don't know. When RG3 comes back, he has a Week 10 bye, and he has Week 12 for San Francisco, and he might not have a job. So, let's move on here. Running back, Matt Asiata. That's what I like to call him. He's an ass. First of all, Jay, you just spent $4 on him last week, and now you're coveting him. This makes no sense. He has a career 3.6 yards per carry. He had like 3 yards per carry versus Pete. He runs a 4.77 40 time. That's more closer to a lineman. The bottom 2% of running back 40 time. He's just terrible. He's not even fast enough to be a fullback. Yeah, he can pass block, but you don't get fancy points for that. I don't understand. His only touchdown in Week 1 was because the Patriots didn't respect him enough. They all bit on the Cordero Patterson jet sweep fake, and Asiata just was wide open, so no one thought he was any good, which he's not, but he got lucky. I mean, there's literally zero chance he's a top 20 running back this season, even if he's the starter the rest of the year. It's definitely possible to do that. I would hate to ever have to start him versus any team in any. So, Woodhead, 9 points through 2 games. I don't have to say too much about Woodhead. He's 5'8". He's not going to be a featured back. He's not going to suddenly get like 10 more carries a game because Ryan Matthews is out for a few weeks. They signed Donald Brown for a reason. And then, look who you gave Badger. No Sean Moreno, your boy, who actually looked good in Week 1 and justified everything you ever said about him. And sure, I'm not a big fan of his, but compared to Asiata and Woodhead, I think Moreno is probably a Hall of Famer compared to them. You've been so high on him since the draft. He backed it up, and now you're shipping him away from these pitiful, pitiful players. Compared to RG3, at least Moreno hurt his arm, not his legs. So you just gave him away for peanuts. I'm really confused by your willingness to wait on injuries for RG3, but not wanting to with Moreno. It makes no sense. You had to get rid of Moreno like a hot potato, but RG3 you're willing to stash like fine wine. And guess what? RG3 is not fermented grapes. RG3 has gotten worse over time. He's gotten worse at passing, and he can't run as much anymore after his injury. This is so frustrating. Today, I look up at your lineup, and you're not even starting either of those running backs you just traded for. So why'd you buy them? To fill in on the bye week? You can't expect me to believe you actually gave up a top 15 quarterback, according to you, for Asiata, Woodhead, and RG3 6 weeks later when he's lost like at least 4 of the next 6 games. So you're rolling with McCown. Makes no sense. Your just starting lineup got decidedly worse. The first stages of trade talks when Basham is being so nice to you and not even arguing and not making it difficult, you need to stop and ask yourself, why is Basham making this trade so easy? Usually he's so hard to deal with. Maybe it's because he wants to give you all his garbage players, Jay. Think about this for a second. When you came to me yesterday to beat his offer, I thought you and Basham were teaming up to fuck with me. I thought you were joking to try and get Cutler off me, and I never thought in my wildest dreams you were actually going to accept this offer from Basham. I made an offer of Bernard Pierce, 22 carries, 96 yards, 5th leading rusher last week. Cooks, who you've been after, great New Orleans offense. Only can get better in his rookie year. And Carr, a starting quarterback, we all know you covet starting quarterback, unless they're Ryan Tannehill, apparently. So I don't really understand. I don't want to go in more depth about my offer. If I were you, I probably wouldn't have accepted my offer, but I definitely wouldn't have accepted Badger. It's one of the most lopsided trades I've seen in a long time. I'm asking myself if you've ever watched Matt Asiata play, instead of holding on to a solid running back and a good quarterback that you needed to start, you traded for the Asiago Bagel, Matt Asiata, a white midget who looks more like an emo middle school kid than an NFL running back, and RG3, who might not play another snap this season. I think this solidifies your status as a bitch of the league, and I'd be shocked if you missed the playoffs at this point. You're definitely falling to 10th in my power. Your team would look better right now if you haven't touched it since the draft and just let it alone. Basham, the ruthless trade rapist of years past, actually felt bad for you last night. I was talking about how I was going to rip this trade apart on the talk show, and his exact words were, "Take it easy on the poor kid, and don't beat a dead horse when it's down." I personally think that's insulting to a dead horse. But hey, at least you got 5 free agent dollars, a.k.a. less than 1/7 of a Sean Hill. So the Commish's corner will be much shorter than that on most weeks. I had to really vent. This trade really frustrated me. I know you were involved, so it's hard to be unbiased about it, but what do you think?
Anything from the soundboard after that whole beatdown you just gave?
No, it was good enough with just the voice.
I thought that was a pretty good analysis of everything. I definitely got a good chuckle over here. I'm not sure what was going through Jay's mind.
You said he mostly offered this to you.
Yeah, I mean, most of it was him. We kind of got down to, I mean, he knew I wanted Tannehill. And then I kind of sold RG3 as saying, you know, if he does come back, you look like a genius by getting him. And then the whole Woodhead thing, I tried to sell, you know, Matthews being out. He should see a few more carries. He had a decent week last week. You know, he had 9 points in our PPR league. And then Asiata. He was very leery about Asiata originally. I was really trying to push Asiata. You know, after that big week, I was trying to sell high on him.
Big week. He had 36 rushing yards.
He had how many fantasy points? 16?
Yeah, so.
Okay, that's a big fantasy week.
This is what I'm saying. Jay obviously doesn't watch the game.
Right.
I mean, the guy looks atrocious. He's never looked good.
Well, we talked about this. He's a fullback. He essentially plays like a fullback. So I was trying to sell high. Reports were, because he kept saying, well, they reinstated Pearson. They reinstated Pearson. I said, not so fast. Right now they're saying it's less than a 50% chance that he plays. So we were down to those 3 and Tannehill. And I said, well, just those 3 for Tannehill is a little lopsided. I would like to get a running back since I'm giving you Woodhead and Asiata. That doesn't leave me with many options on the bench. And I said, what do you think of Moreno or I forget the other one that I said. And he was like, oh, well, Moreno is hurt right now, so we could maybe do that. So we got down to that, and then he said, but if I give you Moreno, you would have to throw some fab my way. I said, all right, how much? He said 5. I said 2 or 3. He said no, 4. I said no, 3. And we eventually got to, all right, tomorrow night on the talk show, we're going to flip for how much fab it is. Tails is $2. Heads is 4. I said, or we could just do 3 fab if you just take it right now. And then eventually he tried to use you to get the fab that he wanted, saying, oh, well, I'm talking to JD right now. Just hold on. Trying to get me to bite on more. And then eventually things didn't go through with you, and I just said, all right, screw it. I feel like I'm going to let it slip away. I'll give you your 5 fab.
Well, I'm gonna be completely honest. and this is partially my fault, but maybe Jay doesn't know this yet, but you and I kind of concocted a fake story about Marshawn Lynch roping a cheerleader just to get in Jay's head and mess with him for like a minute. But Jay apparently believed this for like 2 days. So I thought you had told Jay, or he had figured it out, and I thought you guys were literally screwing with me, trying to make me think that he was going to give away Tannehill for nothing. And so, of course, I wanted this trade. I like Tannehill as one of my rotational QB2s. He plays some bad defenses. And I didn't want you to have him. So I thought I made, like, a much more generous offer. And his, like, first word was just no. And I think I made some kind of other offer, and he just said no again. And I didn't know if he was driving a hard bargain, but that's not usually what he does. So I thought he was screwing with me. You guys were just messing with me. And I kind of thought you weren't playing along because you were like, you sounded confused when you were texting me, but I thought maybe you were just being a good actor. And so Jay originally said he was giving you free agent dollars when he told me to beat your offer. And then later on, he said that you were giving him free agent dollars. I'm like, this is too fishy. They're definitely screwing with me. So I was like, yeah, you better take Bajam's trade then, sarcastically. And he never answered me until you guys made the trade.
Yep.
So I would have gave Jay like $15 to make that go through, just so you didn't rip him off and make your team so much better. I guess I got outsmarted by Jay, who he didn't outsmart me. He accidentally outsmarted me by making his team infinitely worse. I just don't understand. Josh McCown hasn't topped 200 passing yards in 2 games against bad teams this year, and that's who he's rolling with, him and Sean Hill. By the time RG3 comes back, Jay's not going to be in the playoff hunt anymore. I'll be very surprised. So I'd actually love to hear everyone else's thoughts on this if you want to send a comment for the next talk show. Because I'm still probably going to be raging about this 1 week today. So, yeah, sorry that discussion was so long. I feel like it was an entertaining, in-depth look at an important event in the league here.
It was good. Definitely good.
Thanks for sharing your side.
You're welcome.
Talk about the other transactions this week. Starner put $34 on tight ends this morning.
I was very puzzled by that.
Me too. I mean, I realized he traded one.
Yeah.
But you still put $34 into 3 tight ends for a couple hours. Maybe he's thinking about another league where tight ends are more valuable, but
Yeah. Not in our league.
not in our league. Especially not Delaney Walker. And Antonio Gates is going to be okay, but he's never going to have a 3-touchdown game again.
There is not a chance in heck that he can keep that up.
No, that was like a 1 week Seahawks weren't respecting him or whatever anomaly. So Nick Clark, I was gonna hassle Nick Clark about this Anthony Thomas dude. He wasn't even on my radar. Nick bid $2 on him. I was perplexed, but it sounds like Andy Reid actually really likes the guy once I looked into him. So that's intriguing. Maybe a good move by Nick Clark.
I've had DeAnthony Thomas on my watch list since the preseason. Good utility guy. He's like a do-it-all back. He's kind of like a McCluster out of Oregon, so you know he's got experience as a gadget player. So definitely a good pickup by Nick Clark.
All right. I like it. The pickup I'm really perplexed about is Miles Austin. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I had the open spot. I had, claims in for other people. Miles Austin was literally my last claim. I figured if I got an open bench spot, I'll try to get, a receiver. Miles Austin, I mean, he's pretty much the only target right now in Cleveland. I probably won't ever use him, but I had the open bench spot, so.
Maybe you should handcuff one of your quarterbacks with your last bench spot.
Oh, man, what a great idea. Thanks. Maybe I'll do that tonight.
All right, so last week I also liked the Travis Kelce pickup by Matt Bay. solid. I think he ended up using them while Cameron's out. No, who else did he have this hurt?
Yeah, he has Cameron out.
No, Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed's out.
Yeah.
Katko has Cameron. And Katko picked up Martellus Bennett, who had a big week, and they made that matchup not that close at the end. So very smart play by Katko there. The Black Unicorn had a good game. So let's see. What do I have next? This week's matchups. I highlighted a few that are really important. First of all, well, why don't you might have something special for this week's matchup?
Well, I have my match of the week that I'll talk about.
Okay.
My match of the week is going to be Polino versus Sterner. Sterner being the rookie, he's 1-1 right now. If he starts getting a losing record, if he loses this week, it's 1-2. It's still early in the season, but it's tough to it's kind of like a mental thing. You're 1-2. You see that you're under 500, and you start to scramble a little bit. So if he starts 1-2, especially as a rookie, I feel like he's going to scramble a little bit. And looking at his quarterbacks, especially going into week 4, he only has Carr right now. So if he loses against Polino, he is going to be scrambling, and he will ruin his team trying to win week 4 to find a quarterback. And then Polino, he's 0-2. He had all the hype coming into the season. If he goes 0-3, that's a deep hole. That's not a good place to start. And in this matchup, I think that their QBs are even. I think that their running backs are even. If Doug Martin plays, I give Polino a slight edge. Their wide receivers are even. It's an even matchup all across the board. So I give Polino and Sterner the match of the week.
Yeah, I think that's maybe the most important match of the week. It's not my match of the week. But, I disagree. I think if Doug Martin plays, it's worse for Polino because him and Rainey will split carries. I think what Polino wants, or should want, is Doug Martin not to play, and then Rainey can just jump in against a bad Atlanta defense.
Right.
But I will say this. If anyone's going to go 0-3 and come back, it's going to be Polino. Jay just trashed his team. Okay, Jay's team isn't a contender in that division anymore. Katko's team is looking average. It's not looking like it's going to be a force. So he's going to be around 500. Sterner, like you said, Sterner's team is looking kind of good, but that week 4 is going to be, week 4 is really the match of this week right now because it's the most important thing looming. So Sterner could be 500 after that week if he struggles in week 4, which it looks like he might. It kind of sets up okay. If Philly runs away with the division, Polino might go and sneak in there at 7-6. But yeah, 0-3 is obviously not something you want to do. Not when Polino's team is looking like it is. So it's not looking bad. It's just Foster's going to get hurt, I think.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Especially workload right now. He's on pace, I think I saw, for 400 and something carries?
He's on pace to break the Larry Johnson's record by 40 carries, I think.
Crazy. Absolutely
444 maybe or something.
Yeah, something outrageous.
I will say this. Once they're in games where they need to pass, though, they're not playing these teams like Oakland and who they play week 1? Redskins.
Yeah.
So once they play better teams, they're going to have to pass more. But anyway, the match of the week is going to be Matt Bay versus Nick Clark in Pick'em, which I'll get out tomorrow morning or tonight. It's their second one in a row. I think that's pretty cool. And I think it's really important for both of them. Like I said, it could be the first time Nick ever had a winning record that late in the year. Still just making that up. I don't know if it's true, but it very well could be. And Nick Clark, it's Nick Clark, so how much can we trust him to really grind it out? He might need a little bit of a lead. And if Matt Bay 0-3 would be devastating for an injury-prone team. Matt Bay would be tougher to come back from 0-3 than Polino, in my opinion. So you have a chance to jump out to 3-0. I'd say you're a fairly heavy favorite this week. And it's the first ever rivalry game of this season, me versus Badger. What are your thoughts?
Right now, I like my squad. I was definitely really worried after Sunday, coming into Monday. I was ecstatic that I could make a deal to get Tannehill. I now feel very comfortable with my team going up against you. Ellington, I think, is finally going to score a touchdown. I think that he is going to really be the difference for me this week. I'm not going to be an idiot and start Wright. I'm going to go with Wallace, who has looked really, really good. And that Tannehill to Wallace connection, baby, is going to be a force to be reckoned with going forward this year. But I don't know. I mean, your team, it's not
risky. I think
it's you have Lamar Miller. Are you starting Lamar Miller right now?
Right now, I would say yes, because Kansas City's run defense just isn't impressive.
Right. So Lamar Miller, I mean, the dude has that breakout, breakaway speed, game breaker type skill set. So who knows? He could go off being that workhorse this week. So that definitely scares me a little bit.
You don't have to worry though, because they re-signed Daniel Thomas.
That's right. I saw that.
They have always insisted on playing that dude, and he might be the only running back I hate more than Matt Asiata. Daniel Thomas is so bad, so bad. He's the Alex Smith of running back.
Oh yeah, I think that our matchup is going to be much closer than what the projection is.
Well, I don't have a kicker defense right now.
Right. I give it a spread of about 15. 15.
Okay. And Jay, this week's pretty big for Jay because, first of all, Sterner is already making moves looking towards week 4. I love that. He wants it more. He wants it worse than Jay. And considering Jay just blew up his team, he probably needs to get a win right now. That's just my opinion. It's a big week for him. I forget who he plays. We'll move on to the matchup so we can say. Jay plays Bill, and Bill's team is a juggernaut. Jay doesn't want Bill to get too far ahead in that division. I wrote down a key player for each team here. And for Bill, it's Stafford. He has to get back on his horse. And for Jay, it's the Seahawks. They play Denver. Denver's defense is really good. And they all really have a big game. Who knows? We'll have to see. I'll just move on to another matchup. How about Taco versus Jeff? A pseudo rivalry, not one of our rivalries by name, but two good friends. And Taco's looking for some quarterback production. Tom Brady's got to show it against Oakland, or I'd be really concerned.
If he doesn't put up points against Oakland, you can expect Brady to just be mediocre all year. I mean, He's had, around 11, 12 points the past 2 weeks?
Exactly 11.
And I think that's what you can expect from him the rest of the season.
I mean, Derek Carr's outscored him both weeks. I'm pretty sure you can expect a little bit more from Brady. But,
I would hope.
And for Jeff, it's Sproles. Sproles, if he has a big game, Jeff's going to win. Monty Ball has a tough matchup against the Seahawks defense.
Very tough.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking at in that game. With me and you, Miller, I put as my kind of game changer, and my quarterback too, whoever I decide that's going to be. I think it's Geno Smith right now against Chicago, but Chicago looked good, or Kaepernick looked bad. A little bit of both.
Yeah, a little bit of both there.
So, and for you, it's Ryan. He needs to have a good week tomorrow against Tampa, who hasn't been good on defense, and Forte. Forte's got a tough matchup again.
Yeah, the Jets are tough.
Yeah. Lacey had a really bad week against the Jets. So, Nick versus Matt Bay match of the week. I got the Broncos for Nick Clark. Can Julius Thomas and Demaryius Thomas really both have big weeks against the Seahawks? I do not know.
I don't see it.
And for Matt Bay, it's Kaepernick. He's looked really bad. Most people think that. He's just not making good decisions. He stares down his primary receiver, and if that doesn't kind of come to fruition, he just takes off and runs. So, not a sign of a growing quarterback, I must say.
Right, not at all. And if he's gonna get points this week, he's gonna have to run against Arizona, because their secondary is one of the best in the league right now. So
yeah,
he's gonna have a tough time throwing against them.
They have to be disappointed in his development. he hasn't gotten any better since he came into the league.
Yeah.
He looks so good at times. That week one touchdown, he was running and just whipped that pass like 30.
Vernon Davis, yeah.
Yeah, that was sweet, but I don't know. He's just overall disappointing. So that leaves Polino versus Sterner, your match of the week. Polino's got to hope that Foster has another big game, and Sterner he needs Peyton to have at least a respectable game. I have a really tough decision in the other league, in Philly's auction league, whether to start Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, or Cutler. Out of the three, I need to pick two.
That's tough.
Really tough, because Brees really hasn't torn it up either.
Not at all.
So I don't know. I think it's going to be Brees, and then it's a coin flip between Cutler and Peyton. I probably shouldn't overthink it, but Seahawks have his number.
Yeah, it's tough against Seahawks, man.
But he's been scheming all offseason to come back and destroy the Seahawks.
Yeah, he's literally. It's been this game. That's the only thing in his mind.
Yeah, like I don't know what Eli was doing while Peyton was doing all scheming. Probably playing Hungry Hungry Hippos like that one commercial.
He was working on that rap commercial.
Oh my God, yeah. So anyway, actually had some interest in Eli today, believe it or not. Sterner, he is desperate for a quarterback. But anyway, I think that's it for me for the show, but I know we have a very special segment. Bash and I both are coming up with signature segments this week that we hope to continue throughout the season. So I'll just let you take it away.
All right, my segment is going to be called Basham's Ballsy. With this, I'm going to
I got
lay out.
balls of steel.
Nice. I'm gonna lay out 5 bets. Okay.
Right.
Well, we can post these to the message board. Each one is going to be worth $1. So I'm going to bet. Say last week, I'm gonna bet $1 that Asiata scores at least 1 touchdown. If you want in on that action, you just go onto the message board. You say, Matt Vey is in on bet number 2 about Asiata scoring his touchdown. I think he is not going to. So, if all 9 members of the league want in on that bet, and I lose, well, I pay $1 out to everybody. I'm willing to open up the checkbooks this week. Okay?
Every week.
Yeah, every week moving forward, I'm opening up the checkbooks.
Listen,
Right.
I just want to throw this out there. If all 9 of us pick all 5 bets right, that's $45 coming out of Ash's pocket.
Yep, we're right. Yeah, I'm getting ballsy here. Okay. The bet will be off if 1, you didn't get the bet in before kickoff of the game, or 2, the player that's involved in the bet is ruled inactive before kickoff of their game. Just laying that on the table right now. All right, my first ballsy bet of week 3. Tony Romo has 3 or more passing touchdowns this week. Bet number 2. Danny Woodhead outscores in fantasy Donald Brown this week. Bet number 3. Niall Davis does not score a rushing touchdown this week. Number 4. Colston has more catches than Cooks this week. And number 5, Graham, Thomas, or Gronk will finish this week as the top scoring tight end. One of those 3 will finish this week as the top scoring tight end. Those are my 5 ballsy bets for the week. Show me some balls and get in on the bets, baby.
I'm going to say, well, first of all, I'd like to request that when you post these to the message board, you do it in its own comment, its own post.
Okay.
It deserves a sentence.
All right.
Who does Romo play this week?
St. Louis? I think.
That's
That's a ballsy bet.
That's juicy. Woodhead over Brown, that's another close one. Niall Davis, no rushing touchdown. I don't think that's a ballsy prediction, but some people will want to pick the rushing touchdown, hopefully. I'm really intrigued by you picking 3 tight ends versus the field. I might take the field. Because,
The odds are in your favor. I mean,
well, kind of. I mean, I'm curious to know how many times they were the top tight end last year. How many weeks?
yeah,
But Julius Thomas has a tough matchup.
very tough,
Gronk isn't playing full snaps.
right?
It all comes down to Jimmy Graham or Field, in my opinion. That's going to be tough. Well, as long as you have a few reasonable ones each week, I will be taking you up on at least one.
Excellent. I hope everybody can get in on at least one. Everybody get in on at least one. That's all that I'm asking.
I would say that would be a good idea.
That's reasonable.
We'll square up.
$1 a week. Come on, guys.
Yeah, we'll square up at the draft next season or something.
Yeah.
So Bash and I will announce our rivalry bet for Sunday. I'd like to also make that clear. We're going to have our first golden ticket qualifier for the fight for free entry. That's going to be this weekend. I'll post instructions on that probably tomorrow. We have, I think, 17 tickets I've awarded already. So you don't have to use them for this one, or you can use all of them. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to be handing them out pretty frequently. And what else? Pick them. Make sure you get that in. Sorry it didn't get out earlier tonight. It probably should have, or earlier this afternoon. But I was a little busy writing up my rant for Commish's Corner. And one other thing, if anyone wants to do a weekly segment or something fun like that did, you don't have to come on the show. You can pre-tape your video and we can play it on the show. So it'd be awesome to have, I don't know, maybe me and Bash might come up with some ideas you guys can do for a weekly segment.
Yeah.
So once again, it might have been a little bit on the long side.
Definitely a long night.
Partially my fault. But it looks like we'll have a guest next week. We'll clean things up. We definitely have the capabilities to keep it much shorter. Half an hour is what Bash was shooting for. I think that's reasonable. And give us feedback on what parts of the show you like, what you don't. Anything you don't want to hear on here, I can move to Tuesday Buffet. So that's simple enough. If you haven't checked out Tuesday Buffet, there's a great Photoshop of Phillip Rivers and Nick Clark. What else is there? There's a good color gift and the pickup results. You maybe want a golden ticket, all kinds of stuff. So give that a quick read. Give us some feedback on the show, and that's it for me.
About the golden tickets, are you going to make like a spreadsheet that lists each of our names with how many golden tickets we have, or?
It's a tab on the bet board.
Okay.
Or it might even be on the same page as the bet board.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So it's there. Bash them, you have way more than everyone else because you've been raking them in for all this great talk show work you've been doing.
That's right, baby. And I'll tell you what. People think they're coming on, oh my God, I got to take an hour of my day. I look forward to this every week. It is fun. It is awesome to talk fantasy football whenever you think fantasy football 24/7. So if all of you are diehard fantasy football players like me and JD, you need to get on here ASAP.
Yeah, you know what? I think most of us text each other, or not most of us, but a good amount text each other about it all the time anyway. So I don't text Basham as much about it since we're on for the hour-long talk show.
Yeah.
So I do like that. It's also really easy. And I want to give Basham a lot of credit. Today was a super busy day for him, but he made sure we fit it in late at night. He's probably got to go to sleep soon so he can wake up early and drive to school.
As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, appreciate it. Sorry we took so long, but solid show overall.
This was good. This was a good one. I like our new segments.
Me too. Mine's definitely going to be shorter in the future. I'd like to reiterate that. But Jay, if you want to give a response, I would love to hear it.
Calling you out, Jay.
Love to hear it. Your own, not Commish's Corner, maybe like Bitch's Corner or something. I'll even have we'll tape a special video, just me and you, over the next couple of days if you really want to do it. And I think that's a great way to end the show. We'll see you later.
See you guys.
Take it easy, everyone.
Hate you all.